What if I told you there was a time when almost every American home looked completely different from today? A time before smartphones, before streaming, before social media, and even before remote controls became common. Back in 1975, there were certain things you could find in almost every home across America. Some of them were practical, some were strange, and some have disappeared so completely that younger generations might not even recognize them. But here's the surprising part. Many of these forgotten items helped define an entire generation, and one of them was so important that it practically controlled family life itself. Let's travel back to 1975 and rediscover 15 things that nearly every American home had. Number 15 might make you laugh, but by the time we reach number 1, you'll see just how much everyday life has changed. Let's begin. Wood paneled walls. Today, most homes feature bright colors and modern designs, but in 1975, wood paneling was everywhere. Living rooms, basements, family rooms, and sometimes entire houses, people loved the warm, cozy appearance. It made homes feel comfortable and modern, at least modern for the time. Looking back now, it instantly screams 70s, yet millions of Americans proudly decorated their homes with it. And if you grew up during that era, you probably remember seeing it everywhere. And speaking of things that were impossible to ignore, let's talk about something every family depended on: the colorful rotary telephone. Long before cell phones, there was one main way to communicate: the family telephone. Many homes had bright yellow phones, others had orange, green, or beige, and almost all of them had rotary dials. Making a phone call took patience. You had to spin each number one at a time. There was no caller ID, no texting, no voicemail. When the phone rang, everyone could hear it. And if you missed a call, there was a good chance you'd never know who was trying to reach you. Now imagine watching television without a remote, because that's exactly what millions of Americans did. The giant console television. Televisions in 1975 were very different from today's sleek screens. Many were built into large wooden cabinets. Some were so heavy they practically became permanent furniture. Changing channels meant getting up from your chair, and many families only had one television in the entire house. Television wasn't something people consumed individually, it was a shared experience. The whole family gathered around the same screen every evening, and while everyone was watching TV, there was something else you would almost certainly find nearby. Ashtrays? Lots of ashtrays. Today it may seem unbelievable, but ashtrays were common in nearly every room, on coffee tables, dining tables, and living room furniture. Smoking was far more accepted than it is today. Guests often expected ashtrays to be available, and many homeowners displayed decorative ashtrays as part of their interior design. Times have definitely changed, but if you thought that was surprising, wait until you remember how people looked up information. The encyclopedia collection. Today, almost any question can be answered in seconds. In 1975, the internet didn't exist. Instead, many families owned complete encyclopedia sets. These collections often filled entire shelves. Children used them for homework, parents used them to settle arguments, and many families viewed them as symbols of education and success. If you wanted information, you had to find the right volume, turn to the correct page, and actually read it. Imagine that. Now let's move down from the bookshelf to the floor, because the next item covered millions of American homes: shag carpet. If there was one thing that defined 70s interior design, it was shag carpet. The thicker the better. It came in bold colors like gold, orange, green, and brown. Walking across it felt almost like stepping into a soft blanket. People loved it. Vacuum cleaners, on the other hand, probably hated it. Keeping shag carpet clean was not easy. But despite that challenge, it remained one of the most popular home features of the decade. And while people relaxed on their shag carpet, they often listened to something that has mostly disappeared: the hi-fi stereo system. Music was an event in 1975. Families invested serious money in stereo systems: large speakers, record players, receivers, and cabinets full of vinyl records. Listening to music wasn't background noise. It was an activity. People would sit down, choose an album, and listen carefully from beginning to end, something that feels almost unusual today. But music wasn't the only thing families enjoyed together. Many of them also had a simple item that made TV nights much easier: TV trays. These foldable trays were incredibly popular. Families could bring dinner into the living room and eat while watching their favorite shows. The trays folded away when not in use, making them practical and convenient. For countless households, TV trays became part of the nightly routine, especially during major television events. Now, here's something younger viewers may find hard to believe. Many homes had a machine specifically for repairing clothes, the sewing machine. In 1975, people were more likely to fix things than replace them. A sewing machine was often considered a household necessity. Parents repaired torn clothing, adjusted hems, made curtains, and handled countless small projects. These machines represented a culture of practicality and self-reliance, a mindset that has become less common over the years. And speaking of home projects, the next trend was everywhere, macrame decorations. If you visited a home in the 70s, there was a good chance you would see macrame. Handmade plant hangers, wall art, decorative designs. These woven creations became incredibly fashionable. People enjoyed making them and displaying them throughout the home. Today, they occasionally return as retro decor, but nothing compares to their popularity in 1975. Now every home had decorations, but many homes also had one very special seat, the recliner. Not just any recliner, that recliner. Every family seemed to have that one chair nobody else was supposed to sit in. Oversized, comfortable, and often positioned directly in front of the television. The recliner became a symbol of relaxation after a long day, and in some households it practically had protected status. But if the living room looked different in the 70s, the kitchen looked even more different. The avocado green kitchen. Today, kitchens are often white, black, or stainless steel. Back then, avocado green was king. Refrigerators, dishwashers, stoves, entire kitchens were designed around this distinctive color. At the time, it felt stylish and modern. Now it instantly identifies a home from the 70s. Love it or hate it, you definitely remember it. And speaking of memories, the next item captured them forever, the Polaroid camera. Long before smartphones, everyone carried memories differently. Polaroid cameras felt almost magical. You pressed a button, waited a few moments, and watched a photograph slowly appear. Birthday parties, family reunions, vacations, Polaroid cameras captured some of life's most important moments. And seeing a picture develop right in front of your eyes never stopped feeling exciting. Of course, once those photos were taken, they needed somewhere to go. Which brings us to our next item, the family photo album. Before cloud storage and digital galleries, families stored memories in large photo albums. These albums often sat on coffee tables or bookshelves. Visitors would flip through them for hours. Every birthday, every holiday, every vacation. Carefully organized on physical pages. Many families still have these albums today, filled with memories frozen in time. And now we've reached the item that may be the biggest difference between then and now. The one thing that truly brought families together, the single television. Today many homes have multiple televisions, phones, tablets, laptops, and endless entertainment options. But in 1975, most families shared one television, one screen, one schedule, one experience. Everyone watched the same shows together, the same news, the same special events. Television didn't just entertain people, it united them. Family members gathered in the same room at the same time, creating shared memories that lasted for decades. And in many ways, that single television became the center of family life. Looking back, it's amazing how quickly everyday life can change. Many of these objects once felt essential, yet today they've largely disappeared. For younger generations, they may seem strange or outdated, but for millions of Americans, they represent something much more important, memories, a different way of life, and a time that can never truly be recreated. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these things did you have in your home? And what is one item from 1975 that you think should have made this list? Let us know in the comments. And if this video brought back a few memories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more journeys into America's past. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.